are you going to use this video?
No, we just use the content
gotcha.
that you say.
Yeah. Do I need to, worry about my expressions?
No.
Okay. All right, well, my definition of beautiful, are you supposed to ask me first?
Oh, yeah, what is your definition of beautiful?
My definition of beautiful is a person who serves others rather than worrying about himself or herself. That there's a quote that says, it's on the back of our Love Your Neighbor shirts, and it says, what does it say? The true question in this world is, what are you doing for others? And I think that shows a beautiful person. I know that's not physical beauty, but that's what it is to me.
Okay, and then how has the media affected your perception on beauty?
Well, I think that when I was younger, I'm like any girl. I mean, you looked in magazines and you looked at television shows and celebrities, and you got really intimidated, you know? And I got intimidated by those beautiful women, and I think that I still do that to a degree today as I watch certain television shows and I see things on the internet. And just when you're walking down the street or you're in the car and you see the Hooters, billboard, and you're like, look down at your chest and look at their chest, and it's kind of like, one of these things is not like the other. Good times, all right. So I think that it's affected me greatly. I know that because I do what I do, because I'm a teacher and I try to bring awareness to my students, I feel that I've gotten to a healthy place on knowing that I just want to be a good size that's healthy for me to be able to fit into clothes that I think are cute. I don't need to look like those super thin airbrushed models anymore. But at one point I thought I did.
Yeah. Have women commented or criticized on your appearance in the past and or present? And if so, how has the criticism affected you and your self-confidence?
Absolutely. I mean, I've really struggled with my weight over the years, and I know McKenna knows that because I've been vulnerable with my students, and I've really gone up and down on the scale. And when I'm heavier, I get so many, you have such a pretty face, or your eyes are so beautiful, or your hair is so pretty, or you got a beautiful smile and such a beautiful nose. It's like all those things that and then when I've been really thin, really tiny, and I have been at times in my life, they're like, oh, you're just so gorgeous. Like, it's not you have such a pretty face, it's that you're gorgeous. Even yesterday, I don't know if y'all saw the Spur video, I had some students they were really sweet, and they were complimenting me. They said that a bunch of students in their class were like, she looks like Adele. She reminds me of Adele. And that is a compliment, but at the same time, I know what everybody says about Adele. Oh, she's so beautiful in the face, but oh, she's so chunky. And I know that I'm chunky and that I need to lose weight, but there's still that mind that plays tricks on you, Yeah. Adele's beautiful, and I appreciate the compliment, but it also reminds me of, gotta get this weight off.
Yeah. If you had a chance to tell the people that affected you and your self-confidence in the past, what would you say?
I would just say that you truly have to understand that things that you say to a person will stick with them for years and years and years. In some cases, their entire lives. I've shared the story with my classes about the boy who said that really horrible thing to me. You remember at Shattered Dreams when he walked up to me and was like, you got in our way, you fat bee, And I mean, I remember that like it was yesterday. I'm glad it happened now because I got a lot of positive things out of it. But I just want people to understand that their words have such power. And that old line, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Lie. Yeah. Words destroy. Words kill. They really do. So I just want them to understand the impact and power of those words.
Okay. And how do you think the media affects young teens and their self-confidence? And what struggles do you think people face regarding this issue?
Okay, I mean, I think that it affects them drastically. I hear my students talking about this all the time, that they feel like they need to look like these girls who are in the magazines or on Gossip Girl. And that's why I love that one public service announcement or Dove commercial. It's a Dove commercial where you see the girl come in, and she doesn't really look like, all that at all. She's not like, disgusting or anything, but She's nothing you'd look twice at if you saw her on the street. And they show how they take her face and everything, and then they do her up, like they do her makeup and they curl her hair and all that. And then they go and they airbrush her and widen out her eyes and make her eyebrows look fuller and all these things. And then you see she's this huge supermodel on a billboard. And I think that that's something that's really gotten the attention of a lot of my students, because they realize how fake that world is. And that most girls look like you guys and me, like, 90% of the time, unless they have their own hairstylist and wardrobe, fashion designer. So I think that people are really struggling, and I think it's affecting people in very drastic ways. And it's creating heightened statistics on eating disorders, suicide, cutting. I mean, any of those destructive behaviors, alcohol, drug abuse, it's definitely impacting.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say, would you say you still struggle with your body image and the influence others have on you as an adult, and has the criticism in the past affected you in the present?
Absolutely. I say every day almost to my kids, and right now we're talking about body image and self-esteem and eating disorders. I am so confident in 99.9% aspects of my life, and I think just being my student, I'm so confident, but when it comes to my body image, I become this sad little puppy. I'm so self-conscious, and I worry about what people are saying, and I'm gonna be honest, that video yesterday, I was so upset because I felt like I just looked awful in it, and I looked heavier than I even really am, and I know the whole camera adds weight, and I get all those things, but that doesn't keep that kid in Mr. Balin's class from God, Miss Fryman's such a fatty, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I know those kinds of comments were being made yesterday, even though I didn't hear them, I know they were. And I even had a couple of my students, being really sweet, but they're I got mad at some people in my fourth period because they were saying some mean things about you, and I didn't appreciate it because you're my favorite teacher, and I love you like a mom. Mm-hmm. And it made me want to, really yell at them. And I said, you know what? I said, just tell them you don't appreciate it, but, people are not everyone's going to like me, and not everyone's going to respect me, and so that was something I was really, really fighting yesterday. I felt really embarrassed about that. However, I also have to realize that what's the big picture? The big picture that was not that I looked like a supermodel. It was that I help kids have healthier relationships. And I have a husband who truly loves me for me, thick and thin. I mean, that man, would he like me to be thinner? Sure. Why? Because I'll be happier. And when I'm happier, he's happier. So that's why he wants me to be thinner, because so I'm going to be the happiest I can be and the healthiest I can be. But not because that's what he needs as a wife. Mm-hmm. And so I think that, that criticism has definitely affected me, but I'm getting a lot stronger. I mean, it's definitely my biggest weakness. It's my kryptonite, but it's what I'm getting stronger with that realm of my life every day.
That's awesome. All right, cool. Well, you helped us a lot because we have to have a primary source, and so we picked you because we thought, you'd